Yes, sir. My guys, what's up? What's up? Welcome to another show, NBA Talk with Jay Money and the Shark. Y'all know what's up, man. Hey, it's Monday, new week, new money, all this, man. Ready to have a phenomenal week, man. I think we should cash every single day. Let's cash a top play every day, man. I'm your host, Jay Money. That's my co-host, Shark in Sports, the Shark. Ride the wave, get out of the water. What's up, my guy? You good?
Couldn't be better. As I said, refreshed, took a couple days off, put a little drunk content on Twitter. I had fun doing it. I hope everybody enjoyed my other alternative version of myself. All jokes aside, we're back. It's all business. It is my favorite Monday. I say it every Monday. Select it in your mind. Make it great. Your boss won't allow it to be. I can almost guarantee you that. But if you take control of your environment, you will feel damn great. I just got a Sharky six-pack of hats. I wasn't expecting them today. I ordered these over a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago even. Of course, COVID ambiguity applies to shipments across the country as well. But they came in. We got 6 of them today. I think they coincidentally correlate with a lot of your top plays. Where do you want to begin, my man?
Oh, my God, bro. You showed those hats, and I'm like, this is speaking to me for some reason. I'm looking at the hats. I'm like, bro, Aaron, you got some right sides in there. Like them hats are telling us a story, man. Oh my God. Let's start with the one you got now. You might have to change up the hats. You see what I'm saying? But hey, let's start with the first one you got. We're gonna talk this Bulls. So guys, we're gonna get to a bunch of games today. We're gonna even talk about a game that I really like tomorrow. Me and my guy Shark going head to head, but we're just gonna, what I'm saying, just talk it out amongst ourselves. So we're just gonna talk about it. But yeah, one thing I do want to mention real quick. We're teaching guys how to bet. I saw some earlier today. It's better to teach a guy how to fish. It's better to teach him how to fish than to just give him some fish. You dig what I'm saying? So we're teaching you how to bet, not only giving you free bets, teaching you how to bet. I just thought that was so good, and I had to mention it in the show. So you guys hit the like button, subscribe. You like the content. If you're ready for it, just now beginning this channel, but we're going to take this to the top, my guys. Let's go. We're teaching you guys how to fish, not giving out. And giving you fish. But sorry, let's go. First game of the day, bro. We got the Bull, not first game of the day, but one we gonna break down. Bulls versus Warriors. Line opened up at 4.5 for the Bulls here. Obviously, Steph full practice yesterday, likely to come back for this game. They are sitting at +1 right now. So we got the Bulls all the way down to -1. My guy Shark, how you looking at this game?
Well, we obviously have 11 games on the card today. It's a task, but we zone in on the top environments. This is one of the top 3 environments. We do see a revenge game, and I said it last week. Of course, we weren't on, but I said, this is not an autopilot revenge. You don't just take it if it exists. Sometimes things do continue in the same direction. However, I feel like this is Chicago's MO this year. We said it going back over a week ago. They functioned fantastically on the road at the West. This is early season, this is mid-season, and as we segue into later season games here, a secondary point, Chicago needs the game. They are in the playoff chase, and you really find a nice number here. Golden State did beat them by 1 point in the United Center in the 3rd game of the year. At that point in time, nobody knew who the Warriors were going to be. Obviously, they had a new roster. They had a bunch of bench players that nobody had ever seen with this group. I didn't make much of them, but in your classic environment, which, again, we've seen all year, Chicago did it against Portland at home as well. A tight loss down the stretch. Then they go on the road and they cover. And, of course, you were just saying it off the record. We will say it on the record. Look at what happened last game. The Bulls played their worst game of the entire season, a useless, hapless, pathetic loss to the Spurs. All boxes checked. Chicago here, I believe at -1 now, is going to be my top of the day.
Exactly. And to be honest with you, I couldn't talk you off. I'm not on it yet. So look, the Bulls here, both teams are coming in motivated, and I would like it better if the Warriors weren't off a 4-game losing streak. The Bulls are a better team, in my opinion. They're coming off one of their worst games of the season. And so like it is a lot of boxes that checks for the Bulls. They are a better team on the road. If Curry is announced in, they will go to a dog, and they've been cashing. They have been road warriors as an underdog this season, guys. The Bulls on the road. This is their role that they like to play in, that they're the best in. Like I say, so they just got Vooch over there from the Magic. Obviously, it was his first game with Chicago. I know Levine was questionable. He ended up playing. He was a little banged up. the boys end up getting. So he say my bookie has it at +1.5 Bulls. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Steph is likely going to play in this game. It's going to be line movement towards the Warriors. Like if you like the Bulls, and if you sat there and wait, you could possibly get some plus money, possibly even on that money line. I do think that the Bulls will get it done. Just real quick, watch the last game versus the Spurs. They were getting smacked by like 35, damn near 40 points. In that second half and in the fourth quarter, they really showed strengths that how they're going to play a lot better. They didn't give up. They left Vucevic in it for the rest of the game to get him acclimated with the players, guys. Cut it down to 16. I think they're going to ride that momentum versus this Warriors team. Warriors are they can be a really good defensive team, but this Bulls team, guys, top to bottom, better bench, everything. When it comes to the second unit, I think the Bulls are the side here, my guy. Oh, so you saying they at -1 right now? You're gonna go ahead and take the -1, Shark? Or you're gonna wait for a +1.5?
As we're discussing it, I have sprinkled previously on -1, but I might go a little bit heavier as this moves against, because I think we might get this even. I mean, if Steph is confirmed, this could get up to +2.5 even. And at that point, you're in the best environment for the Bulls, which is not necessarily laying on the road. It is getting a couple on the road. So
exactly. Oh, they definitely closing the dog. Yeah, in my opinion, they're definitely closing as a dog here. Once Steph is officially ruled in, but we practiced fully yesterday, coming off 4 straight losses. I'm pretty sure he's gonna play today. But even though the Warriors are in desperate need of a win, the Bulls are as well, and I think they're this is a damn good matchup for them. To be honest with you, so liking the Bulls here with my guy Shark. Hadn't bet it yet. It's because if I'm gonna like the Bulls, hey, I could take it to let me get a better number, my guys. But if we like them to win the game. So you know what I'm saying? Take it for what it's worth. Let's go to this next game, bro. We got the Kings versus the Spurs here, Shark. Kings versus Spurs. This line opened up at 3.5. It's down to 2.5 now. And to be honest with you, I don't agree with the move. I know that the Kings have some sharp action showing on them. I know they've won 4 straight games. Three of those were at the house. They beat the Cavs twice. You beat the Hawks at home, and then you beat the Warriors. You see what I'm saying? So without Steph, I'm not really too big on that 4-game win streak. I know that the Kings are playing a lot better. The Spurs will start to cluster some wins as well after losing 4 straight. They had lost 3 straight at the house. They go out there and smack the Bulls up easily. If they play that same type of game, in my opinion, they will be able to beat this Kings team. They have the players to stop Fox. I always say it, guys. You're facing the Kings, you're going to need a speedy guard or 2 of them to stop De'Aaron Fox. The Spurs have 2 of them, and DeJounte Murray and Derek White. I like the matchup for the Spurs here. I think they're a deeper team, much better coach team, defensive team. Give me the Spurs here minus the 2.5. I mean, we're probably going to make this a Texas 2-step as well. God, if you know, you know. But Shark, what you like? Please talk me off the Spurs here.
Can't talk you off it, but also couldn't talk you on it. If I saw you at the book myself, I wouldn't be like, yo, Jake, come talk to the Shark. I got this ringer. Just not my environment today. And this is nothing against the play. I just was looking at a lot of the peripherals, and at 2.5, I felt like the Kings, and maybe I'm functioning on a little bit of bias, but I don't think I am. They've just burned me in these spots a little too much where they're just a hover zone team. And when it's in that 2.5 to 3, for me, it's just tough. But I don't disagree. I think that what you made the comment of the personnel specifically to shut down Fox, good perimeter defenders, and a lot of depth in the second unit as well for the Spurs tonight, minus 2.5.
And so just real quick, I know somebody said earlier in the earlier show, they was like Spurs tanking. They don't want to win this game. The Spurs sit at the number 7 seed in the West right now and have every reason to be winning. Now the Kings, they're not tanking. They're still trying to play. I give them credit. They're playing really well right now. You still have the same coach over there. Popovich versus Walton, what are we doing here? He should run circles around him. The Spurs usually don't have a good first quarter, but they always come back in their second quarter with fire. I mean, their bench is is actually pretty good, to be honest with you. Won't be missing any players here. I like the bench better, like better coach team. You're at the house. You need to cluster some wins after coming off a lose streak. You're coming off a really good game versus a better team versus the Bulls. If they can smack the Bulls up like that, bro, in my opinion, this Kings team who doesn't play a whole lot of defense, they like to shoot a lot of threes. The Spurs can defend the 3 well here in this particular situation. You have the team. They are laying 2.5, short number, but I think that's mainly because the Kings have won 4 straight, bro, in all honesty. So like I say, man, give me the Spurs here. They say they're struggling. Give me the Spurs, man, minus 2.5 versus the Kings here. Like I say, sitting in number 7 in the West, you have to win every game right now. Like, you can't be losing these type of games. Yeah, man, give me the Spurs minus 2.5. I like it. I do think it's one of the better plays on the board, and I'm riding with it. So give me the Spurs minus 2.5, my guy. What you got? Let's go to the next game then. Let's go to the next game, Shark.
Well, we're doing the hat potpourri game.
What hat you got? Which hat we pulling out?
This one we're
Oh,
going
Spur, and I like that.
One pastel to the next.
I appreciate you putting that hat on for me, bro. I appreciate it because I'm on the Sharps on Kings, but last few times I came on here going against the Sharps, I believe we kicked their ass. So let's go to this Heat game. Heat 4.5 versus New York, my guy. Tell me, is this line wrong or what? What's going on?
This is something that I think we're going to be noting going forward here. Books do change averages of teams in the NBA more than any other sport. Baseball's right along with it, and it's because of the sample size of the amount of games. You do have 82. Of course, in this campaign, you have 72. Baseball has 162. But the point of this is teams change their average in small windows of a large season. This does not happen in the NFL because there are only 16 games. You're barely out of the first 2 weeks of the baseball season in the same cluster of games that is an entire NFL season. And when you're looking at this NBA calendar, you're seeing this tonight for the first time, I think, really for the first time this year, where it seems like the books have moved the averages and the lines for teams. And the example would be Miami. Miami has lost 6 straight games in this campaign. Prior to that, they won 9 out of 10. So if anybody's going to cluster, it's Miami. They're either hot or they are freezing cold. It's barely any in between this season. And I made the comment, I think it's just the mental makeup of the group. They are Jimmy Butler is a little enigmatic dude. Also, they've had terrible injury problems. They've had COVID issues, and the scheduling has not been any favorable to them with a lot of these weird back-to-backs where they can't motivate, almost like in a playoff series against the same opponent in 2 straight games. But tonight, we are seeing a double revenge game for the Knicks where Miami laid 5.5 points prior at New York, and they come in here at 4. So theoretically, it's coming against Miami. But again, when you look at what's happening in Toronto is also on a double revenge game. They laid 6.5 before against Detroit. Now they're laying 3. And there was one other game. Oh, Boston. Boston laid 2.5 in New Orleans, lost, which we had correctly Pelicans in a matinee a couple weeks ago. Then they come home here in the revenge game and only laid 2.5. But Boston's won 2 in a row. Boston's showing upward movement. They've covered 3 in a row, and I believe they've covered 4 out of 5. And they're really starting to sustain a little bit. Their last non-cover, I think, was at Memphis. And, of course, we talk about it all the time. Memphis is a home juggernaut against the spread, against contenders. So I think Boston's percolating. Boston's showing movement. Miami should show movement here tonight. And Toronto also should show movement, only 4 games out of the playoffs, comically. You got to remember, the back end of the East playoffs, there's a lot of teams that are under 500 that are right there. And the large-scale thesis coming to the center is these lines may not make the same amount of sense as they did going back to early season, but we're really note-taking on this because these shorter numbers might be just the new average and sharp takes rather than short takes.
Exactly. No, I'm with you on that, and you're exactly right. With a bunch of teams still fighting. I mean, even the Cleveland Cavaliers, in theory, have an outside chance, even though they probably won't. I mean, they're starting to rest Jared Allen these days, back-to-back games. So it's looking like the Cavs likely not trying to make a playoff push. So it'd just be interesting to see what they're. But yeah, the Raptors, the Bulls, and the Pacers, guys, just keeping. It's always something. Just as we're teaching you guys how to bet, as we get closer to where it comes for playoff time or whatever. Yeah, I know the Kings been owning them. I know that's another reason why I like the Spurs, my guy. Kings are 7-1 against the spread last 8 against, what do you say? Kings 7-1 without Bagley, much better team with Halliburton starting. Yeah, I don't see them win tonight. They have been playing well, but they're going up against a different beast than what they've been facing in these past 4 games, and they're on the road, my guy. But regardless, keep an eye on the teams that are fighting for a playoff pitch, you know what I'm saying, fighting for the playoff race that are just right out of it because they have a lot to play for. Every game matters. And when you're on the brink, talking about the Spurs, they're a game and a half out of the playoffs. Like, so they sit in 7th, but them and the Mavs are right there, you know what I'm saying, neck and neck, and then the Grizzlies are right on their neck. So just you got to keep note of it, guys, or who has things to play for. It goes with the motivation. Y'all know we're taking motivation spots and we're taking revenge spots, teams where we know teams are really coming to play. But in this particular spot, I can't say. I mean, the Heat are just basically what my guy's saying there with them being favored -4. The bookmakers are kind of telling us that the Heat are going to, you know what I'm saying, this is the game they're going to end their losing streak. I did take them last game versus the Hornets. I actually kind of had a nice amount on it. I was, you know what I'm saying, it was like a 2-unit play for me. And the Heat come out there, they got down sharp early, 63-33, absolute no-show. What did they do? They came all the way back and damn near won the game. They were only 3 points out of winning that game. It was 108-105, and then they couldn't hit the three, and then, you know what I'm saying, had to foul, whatever. But they came really close to coming all the way back to win. That's the Heat team that I know. So you just never really know which one you're going to get. This Knicks team is a good defensive team. It won't be easy to come in here and beat them. Randall sat out the last game. I don't think Randall's injured, guys. I took the Knicks in that game. They rested him because Giannis and Middleton and everybody else was what's called I highly doubt Randall sits. So if you do like, he could possibly get a better number when he is announced in. I highly doubt Randall misses this game. Lean Heat, though, still to get it, because I do think they'll show some positive regression here and start to clutch some wins. It's just about when would they start it. You can't be starting off getting down 30 points to the Hornets. You can't do that, my guys. Knicks better defense team. What you think? You taking the Heat?
Again, unfinalized at this point, but I think another point which is really strong here. This is the third matchup of the year. Miami did cover actually in New York prior on that 5.5. They won 109-103. Of course, it was a hook. This is NBA basketball. They're sharp lines, but their functionality in this matchup has shown better strength on the road. They came home in a secondary matchup and came nowhere near covering. They won 98-96, and it was nowhere near. So I think as a buyback to that, I think this is definitely a strong take for Miami here tonight.
God, yeah, man. Somebody in the chat, don't mess with me like that. They say no Dragic. I think Dragic is supposed to be coming back today. So I know I don't like the Heat with them. So Kendrick Nunn is out. Nunn is out for sure, if I'm not mistaken. Dragic should be coming back. Oladipo is still out as well. So Oladipo is still out for the Heat. Be nice when we get to see Oladipo in the Miami threads, my guy. But yeah, lean Heat. I do think that number is at 4 for a reason. If you just go to the game and look at you like, oh, that Knicks plus 4.5 versus the Heat, oh, I'm going to take that easy, especially at the house. And that's what we're talking about, where this line could be kind of sort of baiting you to take the Knicks here, but they have it at that -4 because they possibly know that the Heat will like this is a spot that they will possibly thrive in. So just letting you guys know, sometimes you literally have to read the line. Vegas doesn't necessarily give out free money. I mean, you could still cash it, but still, you just you scale the line before the game. You know what I'm saying? It, like my guys always says, it tells a numerical story. My guy, you boy say fuck Oladipo. Why you doing him like that, man? My guy knows a guy. He on the Heat with you, Shark. So that's one of his top plays. -4. That's what he's on. Let's talk about this Raptors game, bro. Bro, the Raptors bit me yesterday. And to be honest with you, I'm not too pissed. They almost still won without Kyle Lowry. I hate the fact that they announced him out right before the game, because the way I'm capping the game, I did need a full Raptors squad in there. I needed Lowry to be drawing those fouls on Dame Lillard, those charges or those flops out there. I needed that from Lowry yesterday. So when I saw him announced out, it pissed me off. I'm not gonna say I felt like I lost the game before he started, but I needed him in there. Some of these roster moves really do matter. I always say it. When it's the point guard, that's the most important part on the team. He runs the offense. The Raptors had a 10-point third quarter yesterday, man. Stop it. It wouldn't have fucking happened if Lowry weren't out there. There's no reason why I was so pissed. I took the loss. I take it, though. Raptors in this spot, Shark, do we hop on them again? I mean, the way I look, simply put, do the Pistons want to win, Shark?
Pistons are unpredictable. We've seen this all year, but their worst environment has come as a home dog. They play better on the road. They play better in very specific windows, which off the top of my head on this not so casual My Favorite Monday, I can't just coin, but I do know as a large scale comment that is accurate. But the key point here is a double revenge game for Toronto. You have to ask yourself a question. The Toronto Raptors, an ex-championship team who did not move Kyle Lowry, who still have solid components, going to lose all 3 matchups this year to a very, very lackluster Detroit lineup. And like I was saying before, I think this is a new average. The number is coming down from the previous average, but that is a current state of where Toronto is in the standings, and they're 1-9 last 10 straight up. So again, I always say zoom out. Sometimes you have to zoom in, and I think we're zooming in. The books are adjusting numbers to recent history here, and going forward, probably last 10 to the next 20. That's the 30-game window we're in now, I believe.
Exactly. Yeah, it's people in the chat saying Nurse would not let KC beat them 3 times. So the Pistons, in my opinion, the Pistons don't have a lot of motivation for this game. The only part is KC will always get his teams up to play the Raptors, because obviously they fired him after him making Coach of the Year. I'm still one to think that the Pistons do have the worst record in the East, and that they don't have a lot to play for. You can still win a few games and still be tanking. So I mean, the Pistons they always want to win versus the Raptors, like you said in the chat, Simba. But I mean, do the Raptors really want to do they lose 3 straight times to these guys in season? I mean, I think it was this month, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, it was this month that they've lost twice too. So are you going to lose 3 times in 1 month to the same team that you're better than that's losing? So heavy lean to Raptors to me, guys. To be honest, this is something we can't do, Shark, and I just have to mention this to the guys. So the Raptors beat me yesterday. So today I'm like, all right, I don't even want to look at that game. You know what I'm saying? Fuck, right now I hate the Raptors. I don't even want to look at them, but I can't let that get in the way of my capping. So I'm saying, cannot let, I'm mad at this team. I can't do that. Raptors could be easy money today if they come to play, because they came to play yesterday, just took the loss. Hate the fact it's a back-to-back on the road to Shark, but still heavy lean to Raptors. Me, I might have to put some on it for the simple fact that I don't think that the Pistons they may be motivated to beat the Raptors, but they're not motivated. You don't have anything to play for this season. You're just out there collecting checks, really just playing basketball. Raptors actually have something to play for. They're on a losing streak. You have the double revenge. You got to try to string together some wins. You done kept Lowry. You got to get some wins now, Shark. So just talk me out of the Raps -3.
No, that's a great point. We've discussed this at length on our channel here and this show, the NBA Payday, the beginning, as we always said, but it really is. One of the worst things that a gambler could do, first of all, don't call yourself a gambler. You're a numerical prognosticator. If you think yourself a gambler, probably stop betting, because that means you're assuming loss. Gambling means you have no control over the environment. So sports prognosticating, one of the things people do wrong is they have a very good idea and it loses, and they immediately say, I'm done. And then they look back a week later, the team won 3 in a row. And your idea was spot on, but you ran away from it too soon because of what Jay just said, recency bias to a small window where it didn't go your way.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened yesterday, guys. So I mean, it happens to all of us. But guess what? I still I'm going back to that game. I'm looking at it because it may be some cheddar in here. And to be perfectly honest with you, I think the Pistons are tanking. And just be perfectly put, we're starting to see these teams are not trying to hide it anymore. They're not really trying to hide anymore. And I see it. When you don't have nothing to play for, you don't have nothing to play for. You're just out there playing basketball. And I think the Raptors try to bring some defense tonight. If they bring that defense and suffocate, like my guy knows, the guy saying in the chat, if they suffocate the Pistons and bring that defense that I know, I think they'll get it done today, to be honest with you. The Pistons, they just made some trades as well. They got a lot, you know what I'm saying, got some new bodies over there. I like the players that they got, you know what I'm saying, not bad players. I like them, but they need time to fit over there. You're already not a winning team. It's just not a lot of motivation, guys. Maybe to beat the Raptors, but you already beat them twice. I think the Raptors get some revenge, double revenge, guys. Heavy lean the Raptors -3 for me. I'll tell you, I think it's today where it could be a possibly undefeated today. I'll mention all of them at the end of the show, my guy. Let's get to this. Let's talk about this Mavs versus OKC spot, bro. Absolutely have to. Line opened up at 9.5/10, and money coming on the Mavs, and even double-digit of road fade or whatever. Still money coming on them. We know OKC won't have Dort, they won't have SGA, they won't have Horford. They pretty much announced that Horford is not going to play the rest of the season. Like, he's healthy, they're still going to pay him everything, but please just don't come to the games where we're not going to play you. You or SGA likely be out for the rest of the season. Why? Because you guys are out there trying to win games, and we don't want to win. So, and Lou Dort, we're going to put you in concussion protocol. We're going to hit you over the head real quick, put you in concussion protocol. But, my guy, what are we doing here? You got the Mavs laying 11. Do you think the number is too high, or do you think the books are telling us that this is blowout city?
I think they're telling you it's blowout city. And I think if you really look at the previous 2 games, it was -3.5. And these rosters have changed. I mean, the Thunder, not more than any other team, but they're one of the top teams that have had players in and out of the lineup all year. They had, I believe, not a lot of their players in the first one when Dallas did cover 87-78 in a throwback to the 94 finals. But the second one was 116-108 Thunder. So you did get the revenge factor here. And again, we always say this, like a great example this year of where you want the number to be high, and it shows you why it's high, is the Utah Jazz. The Utah Jazz, the number kept moving up because that's the average. The books are telling you the story again. This team is blowout, bloodbath city here. And they're not giving you, quote, space or value on the underdog. They're telling you this is really going to be a blowout. And of course, Jay always says, one game, anything can happen. But when you don't look at games as if it's one spot, you have to look at it across with 10 to 15 to 20 spots. And you say to yourself, if Dallas is laying 11 points in this environment, they're probably going to cover this about 80% of the time because the average is so strong.
I think the Mavs are going to smack them boys back into another to like Back to the Future. Y'all remember? So they finna take this Back to the Future 4 type shit. We're going to 2030 or something. No, I think the Mavs finna smack them boys, to be honest with you. Like when I saw the line open up at 10, I was like, 10? Hell no. So and so. Ooh, I don't want to lay 10. I think it's too high. I still think they're gonna cover. I don't want to lay 10. I'm looking into the game. I said, bro, the Mavs are finna come out here and smack these motherfuckers by 30 points, bro. They shouldn't have let it. They shouldn't have let the Mavs come in here off 2 straight losses and revenge spot losing to OKC. You know what I'm saying? The last game where they sat Luka and KP, and I hopped on OKC in that one. No more freebies. Luka and KP should be coming back. Everybody in. They're gonna be ready to smack their ass. We just, you know what I'm saying, not far travel right there to Oklahoma City. I think they're going to smack them by 20 points, to be honest with you. I like the Mavs here. I like the Mavs in the trifecta spot. They are like 0-10 the last first quarters against the spread, but that Mavs first half is super strong. I think they're trying to get this one over early so it can coast. It is known that my Mavs team will let a team like OKC come back because they always play hard. So that does give me a little bit of hesitation laying the 11 full game with the Mavs. But I do believe this is a trifecta Smack City Mavs spot to be all over it. 20-point win. I don't think they even let them sniff a backdoor cover here, Shark. I think it's a Texas two-step type of day. Any closing?
Yeah, one other good point on this. When you look at what Dallas has done this year in their emotionally angered revenge spots, the last one,
Smack City.
Portland Trailblazers, 132-92. And they had been insulted in the previous one. I believe that was a double revenge game. They had already lost to Portland twice. I had it on record at -2, and they absolutely slaughtered them. And then take it to the other side of the aisle. What the Thunder did in the last game, I think, is a good snapshot to what Jay's talking about in terms of teams starting to really think about the draft. They played 3 very competitive quarters against the Celtics, and then the Celtics blew them out by 20 points in the fourth quarter and won the game 111-94 on a cover. So, again, when you're taking the game, and of course Jay said maybe trifecta, maybe not. I'm talking about just the game. You're not necessarily worried about when it comes. This is NBA basketball. This is why it can be tough to cap, but you just need that run, that cluster, that plus 25 gap in an 8 to 12 minute window. I think you're going to find it here tonight, and I don't think you're going to find a pushback from Oklahoma City either.
Exactly. And so just a quick note, Lou Dort was playing that whole guy. I think like when Lou Dort went out, that's when the Celtics really started going to run. But trust me, I was keeping note of that one because I said at first the Celtics were about to lose the game. They were down by like 6 or 7. Then they started coming all the way back. I'm talking about, and that's why you got a live bet as well. I'm talking about plus money. Oh, Celtics -1. So I'm just, you know what I'm saying? But if you're watching the game, you see them coming back and they're finna win the game by double digits, not only cover the spread. So it's just one of those. Sometimes when you live betting the games and you see that momentum shift like that, with a Celtics team versus OKC, they're already losing. You like, okay, I think OKC finna tank this game. You start hopping on it live, man. You have to. I'm talking about the way the live work. If you realize, I just keep hitting that motherfucker, man, until they get there. You see what I'm saying? Until they get there. But no, Celtics are plus money all day in that one. But yeah, I think OKC is an absolute no-show in this game, guys. I think that the Mavs will come here with a goal. I think they meet it. I think they come out here Smack City from the get-go and never look back. I do think this game gets ugly. Like I'm talking about a really ugly score. So I'll tell you this -11 for the Mavs. I'll be putting some. I think I'm going with a Texas two-step today. I'm going with Spurs -2.5, and I'm going with the Mavs -11. I think we cashed both of those. That's a nice. Last time I went with the Texas two-step, went 2-0. I might go to Texas Roadhouse, even a little steak and shrimp combo with the rolls, dozen rolls with that cinnamon butter. Hey, y'all dig it. You dig it.
Please
let's talk about another one. Let's see. Let's go to Bucks versus Clip. Shall you switch the hats? Shall we switch the hats over? Let's go. We got the whole lineup over there, my guy. We got 400 watching, man. I appreciate you guys. Y'all hit the like button, man, and subscribe if you don't mind. Hit the like button, subscribe. I know y'all not subscribed. Surprised every one of our Twitter followers not subscribed to the channel, man. It's cool.
This brim here needs a little flex. This is the flattest brim I've ever seen, but maybe that speaks to the upward movement of the Clippers here tonight. But
upward movement, they done won 5 straight. The boys probably gonna keep it going
in the matchup with the Bucks, I should say, because this is a revenge game. They did lose. Yeah. The Shark had it on record. J Money did not have it on record in one of our big rivalry matchups going back about a month. But that was a matinee, I believe, on a Sunday. And the Clippers did try to come back in that game. They were very close to coming all the way back. And I believe you were on record saying there was a really sketchy call. Of course, it is the NBA 2021. 4 steps is the norm.
Oh my, yeah. Oh boy, I remember this shit now. Oh my God. Please don't remind, because nobody act like it wasn't a travel. But okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
But I do think when you look at this is a good number. I believe Milwaukee laid -1.5 in that game. This is -2.5. That's 4, not 3. That's 1 point of extra strength to the Clippers. And the Clippers do turn up in these environments. We've seen it all year. They took care of business against the Jazz when the Jazz were, indisputably the hottest thing since the '97 Bulls. They really do. I don't have an official on this just yet. And again, one of the things we try to do for you guys, obviously it's the middle of the afternoon. We try to give you the best plays right now. There's certain things that do transpire in the next 4 to 5 hours, particularly for these West Coast games that don't tip until 10:30. Jay, comments on this one?
Yeah, basically what he's saying is be careful for any late injury bullshit is what he's trying to tell you. But yeah. I think the Clippers get some revenge. This line was at pick this morning, so I guess if you're really on it, you could have got pick last night and this morning. It was up to 1.5, now 2.5, down to 2 at some shops. I can't say I hate the fact that that the Bucks have pretty much just owned them. They've won the last 4 versus the Clippers. But the way I'm looking, and I also don't like the fact that the Bucks are coming off a couple of straight losses. But because I do think that the Bucks will come to play here, obviously gonna be pissed. Like I said, I'll come out and straight up say it. They have somewhat owned the Clips while Paul George and Kawhi Leonard's over there. I'm sure they remember it. They didn't get smacked as bad as they did last year in the first game this year. I do think that the Clippers possibly should have won that game. It was a crazy call with Giannis. I think they was up 2 at that time when he traveled from the 3-point line. But hey, it happens. Final score on thing matter. 2 players they will be missing in this spot, Bobby Portis and PJ Tucker. In my opinion, the Bucks would like to have both of those in this particular matchup, which the Clippers would probably like to have Rondo as well to be good to go. Last time, Lou Williams, I think, lit him up for like 16 points in the last one. So you are missing that scoring off the bench, and I don't like that, to be honest with you, because the Clippers don't really have a true point guard right now, and that's why some of the teams really can take advantage of them, or a really good defensive team. The Bucks are not a pushover. It's not going to be an easy game. I do have a heavy lean to the Clippers -2.5. I haven't hopped on it. I like the fact that it's a revenge spot. The Clippers are hot right now. Won 5 straight games. They're going to be at the house here for a little while. These are the type of spots you want to back the Clippers in. Maybe the Bucks were a little too hot, had won like 8 straight games off 2 straight losses. I hate the fact that the Bucks are coming off 2 straight losses. I really do, but I do think it's a nice little spot for Clippers -2.5. Not super heavy though, be honest with you.
I do think that the Bucks have shown a bit of inconsistency on the road against the West this year as well. They did beat Denver in a spot they should not have. They lost to Phoenix outright, 125-124, which we had correctly there. Phoenix was a dog. And this is something that I'm slightly worried about, the line functionality. I think the Bucks function better as a dog on the road, which is kind of the contrary to what we said about the Mavs. We want the Mavs to be -11. It shows a lot of strength. But when the Bucks are laying 3 points to, say, the Suns or the Clippers, that's their tank spot. It pulls the other way. I think this could come back against the Bucks. So this hat right now is a neutral ground hat, for the record. It's a new day, a neutral ground hat. More just, I'm going to watch the game on NBA TV. But I think a strong lean here would be the over. When you look at what happened in the previous game, 105-100, that was beyond an under. And this is going back in the Giannis Budenholzer era. They tend to flip-flop totals. I can recall numerous home games against West opponents and then go on the road and track meet. I can recall games where the Bucks went into Staples against the Clippers, actually, and had games in the 240s. And if you look at this number, this is 231.5, and the previous game finished at 205. And the previous game for the Bucks was 102-96. Of course, they didn't really have a lot of players, but this is really correlating to a much higher paced game, and I think also a much more efficient shooting game for both teams here tonight.
Got you. The only thing I don't like, I see these type of games as championship rock fight type of games, playoff intensity, where the defense really wins. Like whoever wins this game, it'll be because of defense. I don't think it'll be because that's my only problem with these type of games. And these type of playoff type matchups, I usually lean to take the under. I don't bet totals, guys. So, I mean, don't listen to what I have to say. The last game was 105-100. I do think the Clippers have the potential to be one of the best defensive teams in the league. Obviously, that's when they had Beverly out there and Ibaka. So that's another thing. It'd be nice for me to have the Ibaka for the Clippers as well. Him and Pat Beverly still out, along with Rondo. It's just tough. I mean, both teams have key injuries, in my opinion, that really will mess up how this game goes. But I think the Bucks will possibly miss Portis and PJ Tucker coming off the bench a little bit more because, I mean, both teams still have their starting five. Bucks teams, the whole starting five sat out the last game, could possibly come in a little rusty. Like I say, heavy lean the Clippers for me. I'm not looking to take the Bucks here. As Clippers are nothing for me. I was on them in the last game, and just Bucks seem to have their number. It's the only thing that kind of keep me off. But it's Clippers or nothing. Heavy lean to Clippers. I may have something on it, -2.5. Right now, at this point, I'm still off of it right now. What you got?
Yeah, and just a very loose remark about PJ Tucker being out. Obviously, the guy's brand of basketball is defensive wizardry, if you will. I mean, the guy is a throwback Rajah Bell. I mean, he gets up in your face. He wants to kick your ass, pretty much. And that's why he made it in the league so far. I believe University of Texas, 2008, 2007, something like that. Shout to University of Texas for being very miserable at basketball in this particular campaign. But really what it comes down to, I think PJ Tucker really sets the tone defensively, obviously just acquired. But not being in there, I think, will help the pace. And I just think this is going to be a big, wide-open style game. And it really goes back to what I was saying. The Bucks do like to open it up on the road in these environments. We've seen it in the era. I mean, this is, 4 or 5 years now. Oftentimes when they do have a home, really low game, they go on the road and it just completely opens up. And the number is confirming it. The number is 26.5 points higher than the previous result. So the books are telling you this might be a completely opposite style game here.
Gotcha. I can see it. Like I said, I don't bet totals. I won't have a single penny on it, guys. Overbettors, I hope you cash it. I won't have a single cent on it. It's went up 2 points. So, I mean, that's good for what's called. Yeah, Bulls-Warriors line is off the board because Steph just said that he's mentally prepared to play tonight. Good. I think that helps Bulls out even more. He'd probably come in a little rusty, likely not himself, to be honest with you. I think that everybody's going to see that Steph's playing and they're going to hop on the Warriors. And I don't think that's the right thing to do, to be honest with you. You don't necessarily hop on one team or hop off or on or off a team just because of one player. I know he's one of the biggest players, but they really could mess things up, guys. It's Bulls or nothing for me. Clippers are nothing for me. Like the Spurs, -2.5. Like the Mavs. Like the Raptors as well, man. It's actually a lot of talk, but I think they go 5-0, to be honest with you. I think all 5 of those are the right sides. What we going with, Shark? What you got any officials right now? Anything this is so hard right now, guys, because I'm coming in here breaking the games down with you guys. I haven't made a play on a single. I haven't made anything yet. I'm
going to post a board. Jay and I will consult going forward the next couple hours. Please turn on notifications at Sharks and Sports on Twitter, at J Money is Money on Twitter. We will post the official card. Again, you got to remember, this is not 2016 NBA basketball. It's 2021. It's a combination of COVID nonsense and just new environments with players. Players do sit out more. They don't really value the regular season. So there's just a lot of secondary elements where when we try to put out the content of the show at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, a lot of these things don't get finalized until 7:45. So stay tuned. Put the notifications on. I will post the official board as soon as we have it. Bulls will be on there. And trust me, we want Steph Curry to play. We want the number to come towards the Warriors. We like the Bulls as a slight dog on the road. We also like the fact that you will get a better performance by the Bulls if they're facing Steph Curry. If the Bulls are playing against Draymond and some backup type of guys, you have the sketchiness factor engaged, which will not exist if Steph Curry suits up tonight.
Yep, you're exactly right. Right now, man, I'm going with my play that I always give you guys one top play. The rest are probably I don't like to give out too many plays, guys. So I'll tell you what I think the right sides are. I'm gonna give out one top play right now. And then, you know what I'm saying, maybe if something later, it's just so tough because I'm finna go sit at the spot. I did get bit yesterday with, you know what I'm saying, taking the Raptors super early. Then an hour before game time, Lowry gets ruled out, which that's not their fault. It's my fault for not waiting to the last minute. I probably wouldn't have betted without Lowry. And it's even worse because I wouldn't have told you guys to bet it. But it happens, guys. I'm going to sit at the spot. I know I'm playing Spurs -2.5 for sure. That's something I'm playing. The sharps and the money are on the other side. I don't really care, though. I mean, if they want to take the Kings, I like the Spurs as in this spot, better team at the house, better coach as well, -2.5. Give me the Spurs -2.5 as the top play. Right behind that, Mavs -11. Really think that's going to hit. This Raptors -3, that's a lean. The Bulls, I like that with my guy as well. Clippers, -2.5 revenge spot. I'm only taking motivation spots, only taking revenge spots, my guys. Just makes it better if you know that the players are going to be locked in. Shark, real quick, some guys asking on the Pacers game versus Wizards, and then the Celtics game. Yeah, anything on those two?
Again, I'm going to go through this in a little more detail and post officially, hopefully within the next hour and a half. I do lean Boston here. I think the first half, you're looking at a revenge game here. And again, what we were talking about before, where the number might just be a new environment, even though we theoretically want 2.5 road to be 5.5 home. This could just be a new environment. And I think when you really look at what Boston does, they come home in these revenge spots and they just love the first half. And I always talk about this. It oftentimes is the reversal from the previous game. Boston did just completely coast the first half at Oklahoma City in the last game and then just turn it on in the fourth quarter, 35 points, 35-14. And I think they come home and it's that same type of environment where they say, okay, let's not do that against this Pelicans team. Let's come out with some juice. So I think the lean for me there would be something in the Celtics in the first half. And the Indiana game is just really, really tough. Indiana all year has been so hard to predict. Motivation, they're averaging. And when you see a -5, -6, I got burned a couple of nights ago when they laid 6 to Detroit. Earlier on, I believe at Minnesota, very similar number, -5.5. I think they covered in overtime. Of course, that's sharp, but also lucky to get there. Indiana sharply graded. I think this number is right on it. No play whatsoever for me in this particular game.
Got you. No, I can dig it, man. Those are two tough games. To be honest with you, I mean, that Bucks versus Clippers are total toss as well. I wouldn't be surprised to see either one of them win that one. I really do like to stay away from those type of games. I guess if I like the Clippers on the road versus the Bucks, it'd almost pick them. I have to like them here. They are laying points. Like I say, heavy lean to Clippers for me. Spurs -2.5 is my top play. Anything can happen, guys. Nothing's guaranteed. The Kings could continue to stay high, or the Spurs could continue to get it done at the house. If they play the same way they did versus the Bulls, they will win this game. I like them. I'm going to Texas Roadhouse, you know what I'm saying? Get some rolls and get some maybe a little steak and shrimp, whatever, a little spicy season. Maybe put some Spurs actually on the back of my shoes. I'm going to put these J's. I'm putting them Jubilee 11s on. When I wear those, the Spurs, they win and they cover. I'm putting them on. I'm rolling in the black car. All this. Spurs for me, my guys. I might even go to the little old Alamo Dome or some shit, man. Go a little old. But Spurs for me, -2.5. Right after that, guys, Mavs -11. Really think that's the right side. Really think they win that game by 30. Heavy lean to Clippers revenge spot versus the Bucks. Anything can happen in that game. Bucks are for a couple of losses. Heavy lean to the Bulls. I might get there with my guy Shark. That's kind of going against everybody. Steps back in. Oh, you fade the Warriors. Could be looking at 5 straight losses. I like the Bulls as a better squad in that one. And Raptors, guys, -3. I really do think that that's the side there. Hadn't put money on it yet, but the Pistons are tanking right now. They have owned the Raptors so far this year, bro, but heavy lean to Raptors to me. So there's Spurs -2.5 top play, 4 leans for you guys. Mavs -11, Clippers -2.5, Bulls -1/+1. It just went to 1 versus Warriors, and Raptors -3, guys. In all honesty, I really do think those go 5-0, not bullshit. No, we're talking some college before we get out of here. I like Oregon State +8, and I like USC tomorrow. And my guy here thinks Gonzaga finna smash. And I had to go with Contrarian Jay here and tell my guy, don't be a fish. All the fish are taking Gonzaga. They covered them near every spread. If people are going to take Gonzaga, not even look into the game, just know that USC got some NBA guys over there. They're a live dog. Could possibly don't be a bit surprised, guys, if Gonzaga lose tomorrow. Do not. USC is the best team that they faced all year by far. 9 points. Give them to me. I can't wait for tomorrow. Gonzaga possibly going down. I know you don't like it, but what you like? We like Oregon State tonight, though. So let's talk a little college.
I got a competition, and I was saying to Jay, it's very overwhelming competition. I have to pick all 4 sides and all 4 totals, and I have to scale them 4 units to 1 unit. So you could go 6-2 on your card and still lose if you lose your top 2 plays at 4 units each. So there's a lot going on. That being said, I haven't done the totals yet, but tonight I'm playing Baylor -7.5 and Oregon State +8. I think when you look at Oregon State found some sort of wind. I was watching the game against Tennessee, and they were talking about how they had a younger group, some new recruits that came in, and then they had some older guys that clashed early season. And they found it. Something happened in the locker room, and they connected. And they're just a completely different group. They've won 6 straight games as outright dogs, and they've won all 6 handily. And another thing, if you look at the other side of this game, Houston, I think last game, if you really look at what happened, they caught Syracuse. Syracuse was just they were over their grid. They were capped. They were done. And this is what happened also with Michigan yesterday. Michigan just caught a flat FSU team. So you always have to ask yourself, was that on Houston being sustainably amazing, or was the opponent just done? Cuse was done. And what you really look at, the second round game here, I think is a great corollary to take Oregon State. Very similar figure against Rutgers, who was the 10 seed. They laid a very similar number here against the 12 seed. If you cross-reference numbers, theoretically against the 12 seed, they should be laying a little bit more. They're laying less. And I think it got pumped up by a half point. I'm not sure if that was public or sharp action, but I really do think you've seen a reset group. And when you win 6 straight games handily as a dog, you are misgraded by books, you're unadjusted, and you as a group have just found something. And I think what Houston did against Rutgers, 83-80, I believe it was. Don't check me on that. I know it was a 3-point win on a +8. I think coming off the blowout against Cuse, they're going to play a little bit worse of a game. I think it's going to be a tight one down the stretch, Oregon State. And I think Baylor, chalk special. But, again, the line is checking boxes here. Baylor keeps laying more points against better teams. This is the 3rd straight round they've laid the same number. And the opponent keeps getting better theoretically. So if you're laying the same number as the opponent gets better, it means the line is showing more strength towards you. And I also think if you look at what Arkansas is doing here, Arkansas is highly overvalued. They should have lost to Oral Roberts, who's the 15 seed. They should have lost the previous game. And also I think just a general comment on the SEC, Big Ten, and some of these big conferences. There's a lot of depth within those conferences throughout the year. There's also a lot of bias in the AP polls to these conferences where you'd see Arkansas get a 3 seed, where maybe they're not really a 3 seed. And I think the depth of those conferences really gives an advantageous seeding to these teams. And I think they're just really not as good as the 3 seed would give credential towards. So Baylor -7.5, Oregon State +8. That's an extreme detail. And Chicago Bulls, my top play. I'm definitely looking towards Miami Heat and Toronto Raptors as well.
Gotcha. Yeah, let me know if you hop on that Raptors, bro. I'm be on there with you. I gotta put some on Oregon State +8. I done rode them a few times during the streak. Like you said, I mean, they're just playing on all cylinders. They're clicking right now. It's hard to, I know people in the chat and everybody's on them. I mean, not everybody. There's money coming. I mean, the line was at 7.5 going back up to 8. One of the biggest bets on today, you know, it's like some 300 grand bet or 200 grand bet on Houston. So -7.5. So with that, the books actually kind of need Oregon State just slightly. But I mean, it just differentiates from which book. You don't really go with that. You kind of go with who you think is going to win. And you know what I'm saying? Just be happy with it. I like Oregon State +8. I do think they could be a live dog here. So yeah, I'm taking the 8 points. I always like to, at this point in time, I'm always taking points or I'm staying out. It's just what I like to do. Obviously, I mean, teams is like possibly the last game of the season. They're leaving it all out there on the floor. They're going to do whatever they have to try to win the game. So at least when it gets to this point of the season, yeah, I like taking the points. It's either I'm taking points or I'm laying off the game, guys. So plus Oregon State +8. I'm be putting some on there when I'll need the Spurs, and I'll likely be putting some on Mavs as well, guys. So and at Raptors, I'm pretty sure possibly they bit me in the ass yesterday. I should try to get my money back today. You know, the Pistons kind of tanking here. So watch out for some Pistons late injuries too. They don't really, if tanking teams, they kind of rest their best players so that they don't even have a shot to win. So just keep an eye open for that. Went a lot longer than it was supposed to today. Got to go handle some business, guys. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. 77 figures say NBA only, fellas. No, this is Sports Talk with Jay Money and Sharp. We're going to be doing this shit. We're doing NFL. We're doing tennis. I hope you like soccer, 77 figures. We're doing all this shit, man. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Please, please, please hit the like button, subscribe, all that, my guy. Oregon, Ayana, what? Oregon 245. J Money, do you have a girlfriend? Hey, they tripped out, man. Eric Jones, my guy, meet me at the spot, man. Let's cash, guys. Spurs -2.5, top play. I don't give a damn. I'm fading them Kings every chance I get, man. Let's go, Spurs. You sitting at number 7 in the race. You got to stay there, man, above the Mavs. Let's go today, guys. I'm J Money. That's the Shark. Let's cash today, guys. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. Hit the like button, subscribe. We're going to be back tomorrow, my guys.